Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Let's do it. The update from the Ukrainian front today, the 23rd of August 2023. We got both whistles working, which is the Ukrainians and the Russians. So I will use the narrative coming from the Ukrainians and the map with their little bullets from the Russians. So let's start with the Ukrainians. Ukrainska Pravda, 23rd of August 2023. Russian forces advancing near 4 settlements, Ukraine General Staff reports. The Russian army is conducting unsuccessful operations in the areas of the settlements of Kupiansk in Kharkiv Oblast, Bakhmut and Marinka in Donetsk Oblast, and Mala Tokmakchka in Zaporozhye Oblast, while the Ukrainian Defense Forces have been holding their offensive on the Melitopol front and consolidating their positions. So, this is what they say. The Russians are doing something in Kupiansk. They're doing something not in Liman, but in Bakhmut, which is Artemovsk by the Russians. Then you got Marinka, right? Was it Marinka? I don't know if it was Avdiivka as well or not. Let's see if it was Avdiivka. So it was Bakhmut, Marinka, and Malatomchatka. Okay. All right, and then you got Marinka right here at the bottom. All right, and Tomchatka Chup in Zaporozhye Oblast somewhere here. And we get to identify it where it's at. It's right. Yeah, it was hard to find this place here, but eventually I found it right here. You're not gonna probably understand what's going on here, but I got this Polohi right here. And in between Polohi and this used to be the reservoir of the Dnieper River, so halfway a little bit northwest. So we're gonna find it on this map. Polohi is like Pologi, and between this and this. So somewhere in this Rabatina. It doesn't show anywhere, but it should be this area. So again, we got them wherever they are. The Russians are trying to advance again right here in the middle. Then you got Marinka, then you got Artemovsk, which is Bakhmut, then you got Kupiansk right here. All right, let's go back to let's destroy that map over there. Let's go back to the Ukrainians. Over the past 24 hours, the Russian troops launched 9 missile and 49 airstrikes and bombarded the positions of the Ukrainian army and populated areas 40 times using multiple launch rocket systems. Furthermore, the Russian occupying forces committed another attack on the territory of Ukraine on 23rd of August using Shahed UAVs. Ukrainian air defenses destroyed 12 Russian attack drones. Unfortunately, the Russian terrorist attacks have resulted in civilians tralala. 16 combat engagements occurred over the past 24 hours. The operational situation on the Volyn and Polisia fronts remained unchanged. That being, they usually start talking about the north and this area right here. They want to talk about this, northeast, east, southeast, and south. So around this has nothing changed here, obviously, against the Belarus. On the Siveshchinia and Slobozhanshchinia fronts, the Russian army conducted airstrikes in areas in and around the settlements of Romny and Konstantinivka in Sumy Oblast, which is right here. If you look at the Russians, they say actually no, it was the Ukrainians shelling villages. Let's see. Belgorod governor said that the village came under Ukrainian fire. No casualties. What's this? A drone? It says that Russian air defenses shot down a Ukrainian aircraft type drone. And here in Belgorod, Russian air defenses destroyed a Ukrainian drone over the territory of Belgorod. And all these are just, according to the Russians, shelling of the villages. That's how they report it. So let's go back to the Ukrainians. And after they allegedly, I mean, according to the Ukrainians, the Russians they conducted airstrikes in the areas of Sumy Oblast and in Kharkiv Oblast, which is south of Sumy Oblast. So Kharkiv or Kharkov by the Russians, Kharkiv Oblast, Sumy Oblast. So here, the Russians say nothing happened on the Western Front, all silence or quiet. And then on the Kupiansk front, this is where the Russians are advancing. The Russian forces launched unsuccessful offensives in the vicinity of the settlements of Papapap in Luhansk Oblast. This is Novoye-Horivka. Let's say if you find Novoye-Horivka. I don't think we're gonna find it, but anyway. Because I have to go by the Russians and I don't see it. Nothing here. All right, here. Unbelievable. I'll be damned. Rovka. Doesn't sound familiar to me, but anyway. So anyway, this is Kupiansk, this area. Let's agree with that. Move on. And they carried out airstrikes on areas in and around the settlements of Shivkivka in Kharkiv Oblast and Tverdokholibove in Luhansk Oblast. Jesus Christ. The settlements in Kupiansk and in Kharkiv Oblast came under artillery and mortar fire. We'll move under Liman. But let's see what the Russians are saying. What did they do? Here. The battle group Zapad successfully repelled an attack by Ukrainian troops using aviation, flamethrowers, right here, flamethrower systems and artillery strikes. We're going to move here. Let's see what the Russians say. Again, battle group Zapad successfully repelled an attack by Ukrainian troops using aviation, heavy flamethrower systems and artillery strikes. We move towards Liman. Again, successfully repelled an attack by Ukrainian troops using aviation, heavy What's this? One drone destroyed here. 2 drones destroyed. 2 drones. This is Artemov, this is Bakhmut. So this is Liman area. I'm going to go to the Ukrainians after I'm finishing up the Russians thing. So Battle Group Center successfully repelled an attack by Ukrainian assault units using aviation, heavy flamethrower systems and artillery strikes. And this? Russian forces destroyed a command post of Ukraine's 81st Airborne Brigade, Air Mobile Brigade, Jesus Christ. And it says the Russian forces destroyed a command post of Ukraine's 67th Mechanized Brigade. So let's see what the Ukrainians are saying. On the Liman front, Russian artillery bombarded 30 settlements in Donetsk Oblast. Okay, and in Luhanskoy Oblast. Now we go to Bakhmut front, which is south of Liman. This is this area with Artemovsk, Jesus Christ. Artemovsk right here. So let's see what the Russians are saying. Battle Group Yug successfully repelled an attack by Russian assault units using air and artillery strikes. Russian air defenses shot down 3 Ukrainian drones. Okay. Now another one here. Battle Group Yug successfully repelled an attack by Ukrainian assault units using air and artillery strikes. And this is probably Ukrainians shelling the city. 3 155 millimeters. What's this? Fired 4 152 millimeters, and here 21 152 millimeters the city. Now we're going to go to Avdiivka, which it seems like it's going to be surrounded, but it's been like this for some time. I don't know, 8 months or so. Let's see what the Russians are saying. Battles are raging in the city, and the Ukrainians fired 7 155 shells over the city. I'm not going to read these things, it's the same thing. We're going to go to the Ukrainians and see what they say about Avdiivka. They say Bakhmut, no. On the Bakhmut front, the Russian offensive conducted unsuccessful offensive actions in the areas of the settlements of Vesele in Donetsk Oblast. They carried out airstrikes on areas in and around some settlements in Donetsk Oblast. Over 25 settlements suffered from Russian artillery fire in Donetsk Oblast. We move to Avdiivka, south of Bakhmut. The settlements of Avdiivka, Tonenke, Sieverne, Vodian, Pervomainske, and Nevelske in Donetsk Oblast came under artillery fire. We're going to Marinka. Remember, Marinka was one of the 4 fronts where supposedly the Russians are trying to advance. Ukrainian air defense forces have been holding back their Russian offensive in the area of the settlements of Marinka in Donetsk Oblast. Marinka is south of Avdiivka, is right here. Let's see what the Russians are saying. Battles are raging in the city. Battle Group Yug successfully repelled an attack by Ukrainian assault units using air and artillery strikes. Not much, but let's see what the Ukrainians are saying over here. Marinka front, Ukrainian defense forces have been holding back the Russian offensive. Okay. On Shakhtarsk front, the Russian artillery attacks targeted over 10 settlements in Donetsk Oblast. Shakhtarsk area is this area right here, before we get into Zaporozhye. Let's see what the Russians are saying. Battle Group Vostok hammered Ukrainian troops. So let me show you where that's at. We're not there. But hey, right here, we are here. So Battle Group Vostok hammered Ukrainian troops and military equipment using air and artillery strikes. The same thing. And here, let's see what they thwarted. Russian forces thwarted the activity of 2 Ukrainian sabotage and reconnaissance groups. And now we enter the Zaporozhye Oblast, where the big, mighty, blah, 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 fantastic Ukrainian counteroffensive is dead. And the 82nd Airborne Division, mechanized division, the one with 2,000 fighters with about 200 Western provide, tanks and armored vehicles and everything they need. They try to break through here to go to Melitopol, which is their main goal, or Berdyansk, these two, so this area. So let's see what the Ukrainians are saying. In Zaporozhye front, the Russian forces conducted unsuccessful offensive actions in the areas of the settlements of Mala Tokmachka in Zaporozhye Oblast. They launched airstrikes near the settlements of Orikiv and Robotino. The Ukrainians said they took over Robotino. What is going on? So this is Robotino here, and the other one was where is that? I can't find it. Right here, this area. So anyway, Robotino. The Ukrainians said they took over. And I don't know, man. These guys they don't know what the right doesn't know what the left is doing. Russian forces successfully repelled 4 attacks by Ukrainian assault units of the 65th Mechanized Brigade using air and artillery strikes. Nothing about the 82nd. Let's see what they destroyed here. 2 Ukrainian drones, 2 Ukrainian drones downed, 2 Ukrainian drones downed, and 2 Ukrainian drones down. Nothing else. It's per the Russians. Let's see if the Ukrainians will be more sharing. All right, the Russian artillery damaged over 20 settlements in Zaporozhye Oblast. That's it. No counteroffensive, nothing. So these guys are just weasels, my friends. On the Kherson front, Kherson is right the next oblast, right here. This is Kherson. The Russians report only Ukrainians shelling Russian positions, or as they say, civilians and villages. They copied the Ukrainian now in their reporting. On the Kherson front, the Russian troops carried out airstrikes in the vicinity of the settlements of and Kherson in Kherson Oblast, and Izmail in Odessa Oblast. I covered that. The Russians destroyed about 13,000 tons of grain in Izmail. I'm going to show you where Izmail is right now. Izmail is on the Danube right here at the border with Romania. Is right here. This is Izmail on the Danube River. So the Russians destroyed some port infrastructure and 13,000 tons of grain right here. And they also attacked Odessa with how do you call them? Shahid drones, and another name I can't remember right now. So here we have it. Izmail, and Kherson Oblast suffer from Russian artillery bombardments. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian defense forces maintain their offensive on the Melitopol front. Melitopol front, as I said, is right this one. So they want to break through this. So maybe they're going to give us more information. This is the Ukrainian counteroffensive, supposedly. So maintain their offensive on the Melitopol front, consolidating their position and conducting counter-battery efforts. Over the past 24 hours, the Ukrainian Air Forces delivered 1 strike on a command post, 10 strikes on clusters of Russian military personnel, and 1 strike on Russian anti-aircraft missile systems. They claim they destroyed the S-400 in Crimea, I think it was, they said. They showed a video, but I couldn't figure out if that's what it was or not. Over the past 24 hours, Ukraine's rocket forces and artillery struck 2 command posts and 1 cluster of Russian military personnel, weapons and equipment, and 2 artillery pieces at Russian firing positions. They didn't say anything about the when is this done? What time? It's 9:34 weasels. So at 9:34, my friends, Kiev time here in the United States was about what 2 o'clock p.m. on Eastern time. I say 7 hours, 8 hours. That would be 7 hours, 8 hours, depends. Kiev, I think it's 7 hours. So that would have been what 9:34. That would be 2:34, right? This 2 p.m. and they gave us this piece of anyway. So as I said, I read some headlines, not the whole article, about Ukrainians blowing up as S-400 in Crimea. They showed a video. I couldn't identify if it was an S-400 or whatever it was. They also said that supposedly, you remember the Sukhoi 30 attacked two little boats in the Black Sea, one by the Snake Island and the other one by Crimean Peninsula, trying to sabotage a gas rig, and the Sukhois showed up and them up. The Ukrainians now claim that one of the Sukhoi was attacked by the boat that was trying to run away on the video that I covered. But I don't know. They just showed over there a few boats going around. I didn't even know if those were Ukrainian boats, if that rig was Russian rig, and a rocket going from one of those boats. Now, I don't know where the rocket was going, to Kiev or, I don't know, to wherever, kill some dolphins or I don't know. But, oh my God, that's a, what? It's like you see me shooting something, but you don't see what I shot at. You don't, and I say, well, I shot a monster over there. Well, I didn't show you the killed monster or injured monster. You just show me shooting my whatever. Anyway, here it is, my friends, the update from both weasels. Did they overlap with their updates? Like this, ping, 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 like you have the oil and water. When I came together. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.